Hello everybody, and today I'm back with some more Liberation Circuit. I'm going to be playing through the first part of the game today, because I feel like I should do that while I talk about the strategy that I use in order to beat the game. Because this game can be hard sometimes, and sometimes you need some ideas or inspiration for what to do. Okay, so I'm going to be playing on the normal difficulty, starting from the first, even I'm starting from the tutorial, but let's take a look. Okay, so these are the ships that I designed previously in other videos. I turned the text size up too so that you can see maybe a little better. Here's the base, the harvester, the builder, and the base that we made to harvest things. So this is good and all for collecting resources, but we need something that can do the attacking. For now, since I won't be doing any coding yet, because I don't want to, I just want to explain the strategy behind it. I'll just be making something simple. Okay, so for our first attacker, I'm going to go with the biggest core available to me, the Pent A here. What I want to use it for is just to, as like a little basic attacker, I just want to be able to beat the first few levels and that's it. So the way I'm going to design this is I want it to do as much damage as possible while still being able to repair itself sometimes. So I'm going to put on this fork at the front and change it like that and move it there. And then I'm going to move it up like that so that it's towards the top. I'm using this fork because it's one of the least expensive components in the game. So in case you're wondering, every new component that you add adds the same amount of power to your generation here. So the more or less costly components you have, the more efficient your design will be. Now, I'm going to add something at the back too. This one will be, I think, maybe fork again. I don't know. It's up to you, really. I like that. I like another try. Okay, or that's a fork. You're gonna mirror it. Yeah, it doesn't fit. It's not good. Sometimes it's a bit finicky. Okay, there we go. Now I want to add some moving. And I don't think this will be enough for what I want to add. That'll be fine. Okay, so I want to put 3 bursts on the front. Bursts are fixed attacking objects, so they will only face whichever way you're pointing them in. And they cannot turn. Pulse, on the other hand, can turn. But these will do more damage for the amount of data you spend on them. So if you can build something that can turn quickly, you should probably be using burst. And on the side here, I think I want to put repairs. Repairs are very important in the early game, because without these, you're not going to be able to withstand that much attacks from enemies. Okay, we're going to go with move in the back here. Or should I put it on the other side? Okay, so one of the things I've done here is that this top half here is the top that gets mirrored whenever you adjust it. So let's look at the thrusters in the back. Let me point them in random directions. So you do. So yeah, the top half is the mirrored part. I'll show you right now. There. You see how the bottom ones turned, but the top ones didn't? Yeah. Okay. So I think this will be good enough for now. It'll beat the first few levels for me. I don't really care. So we're just going to auto-code it, and it'll do that. Just attack. Okay, perfect. Okay, I just saved it. Now we can compile it, and it'll say the name. Okay, cool. Now let me do the first level. So, in case you haven't watched the other videos, all of these are autonomous, so they'll play the game for me pretty much. And then I also coded them in a way that they can take inputs from me as well. So I can just start the game up. And this is a tutorial. I assume you played through it. So I'm just gonna press F1 here, or F2 to speed it up a little bit. So these guys will just go out and find these harvesting nodes, and they'll take data from them. And then they'll come back. This guy will also go out and build a base, and they'll keep harvesting. Okay, so now I want it. I think that's actually enough to beat this level, so now all I want to do is build some attackers and finish it. This level is fairly easy, but the rest of them, don't expect to get them on the first try, okay? They're pretty hard. Eventually you also learn where the enemy base will be, so I know it'll be somewhere over here. But, so I can just send my guys there, and I know that I'll get the base. It's an auto-coded process. You can press control and they'll attack anything that they see while they move. Okay, so the base is here. All I have to do is make them attack it, and then I'm done this level. You see these repairs going in? They are helping. Okay, cool. So that was that level. I wanted to mention something else. You might notice that my process is slightly underpowered here. It's important that not all your processes aren't fully powered, but also aren't too underpowered. So what I mean by this is, say this thing is trying to turn, but it's not firing its weapons. So when it's doing that, the weapons aren't in use, so the power isn't being dedicated to those weapons at all. So being slightly underpowered in that case is fine, because all we need to do is turn. Let's say we're repairing, firing, and moving forward at the same time. Okay, well that's too much power now. So the slightly underpowered matters. It'll probably stop repairing something, and that's not what we want. So this isn't very catastrophic, because I don't think our process will be moving forward and firing. It'll only be turning and firing, which means that these two thrusters won't be used, and it'll be fine. But with something that's like, say, 30% powered, you're gonna have a lot of trouble with not being able to do your process. You basically spend too much data on that process, so it costs too much to make, but it doesn't do enough for what it costs. Okay, I just want to say that. Next level is the second part of the tutorial. Let me just speed through this again. I might press F3 to make it go even faster. And then build a few of these. Okay, these have been built, so we can just go over here again and send them. And they will do the same thing pretty much. start with a bunch of processes, but I decided not to use them. You can definitely use them until like pretty late in the game. I think I did a playthrough of this game where I just used the starter base the whole game, and that was an autonomous. So yeah, you can really do a lot with the starter designs. Okay, so here is our first actual level. This one's not a tutorial anymore. Again, it's not that hard. It's a beginner level. So we're just going to speed through this again. Okay, so here's where my AI failed. These starter levels can be quite aggressive sometimes, but that's okay. The enemy AI uses a random number generator to decide where it moves for pretty much all of the AI in the game. So we just start over and expect a different result. Well, the result was different, but we still lost. So instead, I think I'm going to take control of my AI and not let it be independent. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to build the builder first. And I'm going to tell it to build. Okay, and that build wasn't very worth it. I basically build these bases because I know that they'll be attacked eventually, but this thing isn't working very well. It's not meant for me to give it commands, it's meant for the base to give it commands. So I'll try building another one. That worked. There we go. Let's see what this one does. It's not doing anything. Oh, we lost it. Yeah, the strategy I use isn't very good for the first few levels because it takes... I didn't build this very well, did I? Oh no. It's being beat up by a little guy. Sometimes there's a lot of trial and error in designing the process. Maybe the first time you won't get something that's good. These bursts are also a lot better for attacking like static processes like bases. So I should probably build another one that has turning the pulse on them so that they can actually work. Okay. I'm gonna try using try for this one. I think I'm also gonna go with a cap. Cap is very good for move objects, I think. Actually, no, I don't. I'll go with a try. these first few levels are kind of exceptions in the game because of how fast they go. So we're just gonna start it up like normal, and then we're gonna build this guy immediately. Okay, he got built. Where's my builder? My builder is gone. Make a new one. One of the things that I did is I put the two components in the front here so that they cover the core. It's really good in the early levels because covering the core is important. If you lose the core, you lose the ship, so you should probably protect it. Okay, I'm gonna start making... I'm gonna make one more of these and like 3 more of these. Okay, well, we lost all of our harvesters because this AI is still aggressive. So I am just going to fast forward until this thing collects enough data. Sometimes your stuff runs off and it's gonna die. It's kind of what's bad about the built-in AI. Need to tell these guys to help. Okay, it worked out. Where are they going? Turn around, please. Don't go away. Okay, one more. Oh my god. Yeah, this AI is dumb. Where are you going? Okay, you won. I don't usually use autocoded process. I usually do it myself. Okay, there's the last one. Keep in mind that you can take any amount of time that you want to beat the level. The maximum amount of time that you can take is 1 hour though, so don't take more than that, otherwise you just lose. This seems like a good little fleet to send. I'm gonna do that. Hopefully we win. Oh yeah, I didn't put them on control. Where are they going? What the hell? Go that way. The enemy base is usually across from you on the map. Sometimes it's in the very middle, but Usually it doesn't. Okay. This may be a bit overkill, but still works. Now we just have to get this last guy. There we go. This is the first level. We got the bigger weapons, so I think I'm gonna switch a few out on this process here. I'm going to go for burst L in the middle. And I think that's fine. Talk about right header, the difference between right header and autocode, but I don't think that's necessary right now. Since this guy has so much power, I'm going to change these outer two to bigger pulses. I don't have any reason for doing the outer two rather than the inner two, but that's okay. Again, it's up to you. Okay. You need to make sure that they stick together so that they can do damage together and take damage together. Okay, we have the energy base and it's been kind of difficult. Not sure if you're gonna do it. We already lost one. I think we'll be fine. Oh, I lost my base. I wasn't even looking. Okay, I think we'll do something else. This isn't how I normally play. I'll change to how I normally do it. Okay, so we're going to, let's see. We're going to change this to burst on the front here. And now my process is too underpowered, so we're going to go new component in the back. It's going to be a fork. This is going to look stupid again, but I think I don't mind this time. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to rename this to attacker. So now that this has pulse and burst, it should do this same thing as the two different processes that we had before. And then we're going to remove this one, because I don't like it. And here's a technique that I use a lot in all of my plays, all my time I've been playing the game. So you can do this thing with tries, where you just put 4 of them on an end, like this. Then if you rotate them right, if you want them on the front like this. Okay. Then we want them to touch, or be close to touching. You don't want the enemy to shoot in between the cracks, so that's why we do this. Then we need another component here to protect the core. I think I'm gonna go with cap. Maybe. Yeah, looks good. Okay. And then we're gonna put a bunch of repair on this thing so that it doesn't die. And then a bunch of pulse so that it can defend itself. This is gonna be a little expensive, maybe. It's underpowered, so I think the cap was a bad idea. Should go try instead, maybe. No, fork. It's kind of awkward though, again. You unlock more components as you go through the game, so hopefully we'll be able to get better stuff soon. Make it look less bad. This is going to be the defender. I'm just saving it. Okay, so this donut shape that I've got here, it's going to surround this core, this smaller core, and it's going to be able to protect it from pretty much anything. So this also doesn't cost very much. It only costs 228. It's going to cost less than the two processes I was making to circle the other base, and it's going to work much better. The thing with static bases too is you could have them less powered than a normal process because it can't turn. So only about a quarter of these pulses will actually be attacking at the same time because it can't actually rotate the entire thing to face the enemy. So you don't need as much power to power that. Alright, let's give this another go. Alright, I'm gonna add the new thing I built. Oh, not that thing. Oh my god, they're named the same thing. Okay, as you can see, it makes like a nice ring. Gonna speed it up until it's built. Okay, got built. Hopefully it fit. There we go. And it just takes everything out, so I don't have to worry anymore. This thing, it doesn't look like it's going well. Usually you don't want to protect these little small guys, because these guys... You can build like some 300 data structure around them to defend them, but is it actually worth it? Usually it's not. Because either something bigger is going to come along and destroy it, and you just wasted a bunch of data on nothing. Or you're going to spend so much data on it, making it impossible to kill, but it's still going to... It's not going to give you as much resources as you put into it. The only exception is with your main base. You can put stuff on it so that you're not in harm's way all the time. So as you can see, this is doing work. It's quite nice to have. Unfortunately, we lost that one pretty quickly. But it looks like we're gonna win this anyway. So, now that that's done, we just have to get the stragglers and we beat this level. They might actually get themselves, which is kind of funny. You can see these guys moving randomly. Wait, I don't want to speed it up that fast. You can technically speed it up and wait for him to just go to your base and die, like that. But yeah, okay. So now we get to this part of the game. We have Core Pent B and Core Pent C unlocked. Those are good, but I think what I have right now is good enough anyway, so I don't think I'll be using them yet. One thing that these cores do is they also upgrade the amount of interface your ship gets, but we don't have an interface unlocked yet, so we don't have to worry. Okay, so we can choose between the three of these as our next level to do. We can get Pulse XL and Burst XL, which will make us do more damage. We can get Repair Other, which will make us be able to repair other ships, but it's kind of expensive and it costs a lot of power. So I think we're just gonna go for the interface. This is like the main object in the game, or at least for my strategy. So you want to get the interface as soon as you possibly can. So I'm just gonna do this straight up. We can send it, I hope. That was bad timing. We got there as they finished building something. Still might be able to get it though. Yeah, we did it. Okay. So it looks like our base is still doing fine, even though it got two of those bigger processes. This little ring thing is really the bread and butter. It really just means that you don't have to worry about this at all. You just put this thing down and it's fine. Okay, so we got the interface. Gives you a little cutscene. Very nice. Okay, so designing processes with interface is quite a bit different than designing stuff that doesn't use interface. So the main idea with designing something that doesn't have an interface is you want to protect the core. And you also have to accept that you're going to lose some processes along the way because of how fragile they are. But with an interface, okay, how do I want to explain this? With an interface, you don't care so much about protecting your process's core. So let's say I had this was right here. This is, let me clear that and change up link. So I had something like this to protect my core. It's hanging, it's got like a chain of 3 components that are coming off of 1 component. And so if they shoot this component out, all of these other components will also go. So this component is also important and needs to be defended with other components. Or you can just keep it like this and your process will be pretty fragile. With an interface, that all changes. So the interface will add an extra amount of health onto your whole process. So it'll protect all of the components that have interface shielding on it. So you can design like this and it'll still be fine because your core is protected. Okay, so we want to design something new because this just won't do for the next few levels. We need interface. I'm going to go to the Pent-C because it'll give me more power and it'll give me a lot more flexibility with what I do because it'll have more interface. So what I want to do now is I actually want to turn this around. If you hold control, it'll snap to like so that you can mirror it. So right now this is symmetrical right now. Okay. I want to put here snub. So we unlocked this component over the thing, over what the last few rounds we played. We also unlocked long 5. These are both components with a lot of attachment points, so we can attach a lot of things to these. I'm going to put two snubs next to the core, and maybe one on the back. I don't like how that looks though. I think I'm going to go with this instead. I'll put 2 cap at the front. Actually, I forget how many interface you need for this level. It's kind of high. Let me put this on right now though. See how much I actually got. Not bad, but I think I'll need more. Let's go with 2 more snub. That might be as good as it gets. Okay, so we have a bunch of components now, but as you can see, all of these ones with interface in the middle are protected by the ones on the outside, so hopefully shots won't get it through. The only problem I see is this backside. This shot might sneak in there, but hopefully the next part is going to fix that. The next thing we need to do is add thrusters. So we do this outside of the ring that we've made. Because if we do it inside, then we can't use the thrusters. They need to be able to point into free space. So we're going to make these little wings here. And then we're going to put the move object on them. So these are going to get shot off a lot, but we're also going to put a few repairs on this process here so that it can put these move objects, these wings back really quickly. Okay, let's do a component check. If you didn't know, the maximum number of components that you can use for your process is 24. It looks like I didn't exceed that, so that's good. Now we have to use the rest of our power. So I am going to put repair objects on the back. Okay, 4 repair objects is usually enough for any process. Then I also want this to be a builder, so I'm going to change this to builder, and I'm going to put some pulses on this now. This thing is probably going to be pretty slow, at turning at least, so we're going to put a bunch of pulses. If you know physics, inertia still applies, so if you put the move objects further from the center of gravity, you'll turn faster. But we can't really put it that far away in this process because we've already used so many components, so if we just make a long stick coming out, it doesn't work. Also, if you have a lot of processes, they tend to collide a lot, so it's not good. Okay, we're becoming underpowered, so only a few more. Let's go symmetry. Again, only half of these will probably be attacking at once, because some of them are even facing backwards. I think the Pulsella is pretty much my favorite weapon in the game too. It's pretty cost effective for the damage you get, and it's also has fast bullets, so and they can fill up your these little nodes, what are they called? Links. They can fill up your links quickly. You also want some small pulses too though, in case something fast comes along. You'd also save a little bit by doing this. Okay, so we're about 70%. That's usually the number that you want to be at, but I would like this thing to also be able to build. So I'm going to put a build object on this. So this will be our builder as well. If we ever go to a well, we'll be able to put down our little harvest base here and get more data, because this one will cost a lot. It's probably not wise to Yeah, we need more data than what the first well can provide, so we need to put down more bases. Okay. And is there anything else on? I think this is it. Okay, I'm gonna auto-code this. Basic attack. It's gonna be the builder. Big build. Then I'm gonna save it. Okay, this thing. This thing is still pretty good, but it needs interface, so we're gonna actually remove these two. And then we're gonna slot in some snubs. Build with interface. One thing that you're probably gonna immediately notice is that this thing gets a way more interface per the... This thing gets way more interface on it than the other stuff, so you wanna be... You don't have to put as much on it. Kind of hard to fit these though. At least I'm finding it hard right now. Because of the way that I've been designing my processes, they come out looking very curly. They have these curly tendrils that kind of just wrap around stuff. And then they also come out kind of blocky sometimes. I like it though. There's actually a lot of space in here too, so if you wanted to, you can exchange one of these for a long 4, like that. And come back around like this. And then on the inside you could put more interface, like right here. I guess I'll do another stuff. And then this little pocket here is still enough room for whatever you need. Okay, let me start adding interface. Okay, so this thing will have 4,800 interface right off the get-go, so it's not bad. Definitely have more though, if you wanted to. Oh, I haven't even pressed symmetry. There we go. This one will have 6,400 interface. You get way more interface on the static process than you do on a mobile one, so keep that in mind. It makes it a lot easier to make something that you just can't do damage to. Okay, this one's 50% powered, but again, it's less important that it has bad power because it's a static process. Okay. Eventually I might choose to put a build object on this too. That's because eventually you start collecting so much data that the recycling time on your build objects become important. So if you have more build objects, they can build more stuff quicker, which lets you get more wells faster. And it lets you develop your standing a lot quicker. Okay. Should be enough. This level is pretty easy, actually, compared to the other blue level. You can, when I first played the game, I was able to beat this level before I was able to beat the interface level, which was the fifth blue one. Yeah. Okay. So you can see it still fits, I think. Yeah. This AI is way less aggressive though. As you can see, the enemy still hasn't shown up. And we're just building these tiny bases with the automated code. It's way better. So, building these things with a lot more data is a lot better on these levels where the AI isn't so fast. Okay, so we got our big defender here. It should protect us for ever. We shouldn't have to do anything, really. Looks like we're gonna lose this base, which is kind of unfortunate because I think it was just put down, but it's okay. Where's my builder? My builder gone? I think my builder is gone, but again, that's okay. We're gonna build this. Guess we have to wait. Look at this one. Takes no damage. That's what you want. Okay. I am going to put down a base over here. I didn't need to. I didn't notice the other base was there. It's okay. Put another base down here. Okay. Put another base down here. Put another base down here. It looks like we passed by something. Maybe got away. Oh, well, came back. So we have a lot of data. We should probably build another one of these. I'm not actually that good at the normal version of the game. I don't really like micromanaging anything. That's why I play autonomous. I don't have to do anything. Wait. Oh, I clicked on an enemy on accident. It's kind of funny. You can click through the fog of war on enemies. It looks like we got an attack fleet showing up. It's okay though, because we have all these attacks, and our process didn't even take damage because it has so much interface. Okay, here's what I'm talking about with the recycle. You see, I already got enough data back to make another one, but I can't because I have recycle on this build. Usually that's not too important, but right now it's kind of important. Well, it's not important right now. Usually it's more important though, because you want to get a snowball rolling, right? So I'm going to get another base here. Looks like there's already a base here. It's kind of unfortunate. This well probably has a little bit less materials than used to have, but it still has a lot in it, so I'm still gonna build a base. Where's it go? Remember that you can fast forward in this game. F1, F2, F3, F4. Those are the keys. Okay, I think the enemy base is here, so we're just gonna send this guy. Hopefully he'll take care of it. Oh, we got another one. Okay, should build another one. Okay, we're at the enemy base, and it looks like we're taking no damage. The enemy base took damage. A little bit. Not very much though, so I'll probably want to send another one of these guys in. It actually worked. I'm bad. I thought it wasn't going to get through the interface. It's okay though. Okay, so that's that. This is good, but if you saw the problem with that base, it's a little bit slow at killing bases. So the next base will be a little harder. I think we should design something else that can help with the base. So I'm going to design an attacker. This thing is going to have a lot less interface than the other thing, but it's going to have a lot more damage on it. So I'm going to go with a fork here. No, can't do it there. Do one up. There we go. And then we're going to put Burst XL on it. It's the component we just unlocked. The object. Sorry. Symmetry. Gonna make new components. This one we also want to interface though. We don't want it to just be doing nothing. There. Have no interface, because if it has no interface, then if the fleet gets flanked, it would be a big problem. So I'm gonna have try, I think. It's gonna go here. I'm gonna save it. Okay. There we go. processes look good. So I think I'm ready to take on the next level. Gonna go after this one. This one will unlock us the mobile hex core, which is very important because it gives us so much more interface on our process when we just stick it on. So I'm gonna speed through the first part again. Hopefully it'll work out. Here we got bumped. That's good. May not be good enough though. Okay. What am I going to do about this? I think I'm going to put a build object on this. And then code it to build on top of itself. First I'll auto-code it. And then here in the initialized, I'll put add to build queue template. Don't know. 10. Why not? For x, y, 0. Angle doesn't really matter. Back or front. Put back. Repeat. No. Okay. Hopefully this works. So when this thing gets built, it'll immediately add it to its own build queue. A new build thing. Wait, no, we need template index. I forgot. I was thinking of target index. It should be template 5. 5 is the one we want to build. Okay. Let's go with the defender here. Okay, did what I wanted to do. It automatically added this to its queue and it's right on top of itself. It looks like we got pretty lucky with these things too. They've just been staying around. I'm gonna have one of these less than 5 minutes into the game, which is really good. Okay. So this is going good to go. Now we start rolling. I believe we need these first though. How much data does this actually take? 520. It's maybe a little bit more than you wanted to. Okay, we built one of these apparently. Let's go middle here. We want to come back and collect this. This will be following our other process, which is super tanky. Even though this is also pretty tanky apparently. In hard mode it makes more sense. might want to turn around and just take out this foot really quick. See how fast this guy is at turning. Should be really good. Oh yeah, look at it go. Okay, he's gonna head over there then. Oh, that's unfortunate, we lost that pace. Usually you don't want your processes to return to something like this if you're in autonomous mode. You just want to code them to keep going. But since you're the player and you're there, you can decide whether or not to pursue. There should be another process coming right here. So this thing should shred it because it's got a lot of attack power on it. That's why you want the lot of interface. This thing is probably usable until the very end of the game, so that's good. It looks like we have enough data for another one. I'm probably being really cautious by building so many of these, but it's okay. And this guy can build a harvest base. And we're going to send him here. And we can follow him. Okay, this is a problem. We probably lost this guy. Yeah. These guys are pretty strong, but we got through his interface with just one of them. So that's good. I think we just go ahead and make another one of these. Yeah, I can make it behind. Okay. So because of the way I placed this, I can just put it behind the structure. That's way better. Oh dear. One of the problems with like your processes flying to the side of your main process is sometimes the tank here won't see it. It'll just keep going. In autonomous, you can fix it by like having communication, but you can't be that specific in command mode, unfortunately. Let's see if this guy can do this. It's looking pretty good so far. In hard mode this wouldn't be possible though, I don't think. I need the backup. It looks like we're actually getting a little bit of damage to the interface too. There's still little gaps between these components that could be fixed. Okay, here's the base. I'm coming in with 2 big guys and then some follow-ups. With just 2 big guys, it should be fine. Okay, so we got the main base out of the way, but now we need to find the rest of the bases. Okay, there we go. I think that's all I wanted to show you for today. As you can see, we've unlocked the new core, XA. That's pretty important. We'll probably, if I were to keep playing, I would replace the pent on this one with the hex, so that it can be bigger interface. But that's all I have to say. I'll maybe make another segment later. I don't know how much of this is also going to get edited out. Probably a lot. But I guess I will see you in the next video. Bye.